All right. Um, Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel Yaguchi, and I am the marketing assistant for Kizuna. Um, and today we're going to be reading a book called Thank You Very Mochi. It is a book that is a product of Kizuna. It was actually written by two former Kizuna staff members, and I'm really excited that you all get to hear it today. So I think I'll give us a little bit more, a couple minutes for people to come in. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to share this book with you guys because I personally really like it. Um, and yeah, uh, so if we could maybe have the slideshow pop up. Perfect. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay. I think as we're still waiting for people to come in, maybe we can go to the first page. Now, as you can see, there are many different items on this page. So I'm just curious, how many of you can, I want to see how many items on this page you guys can name. So if you guys want to go ahead and put that in the chat right now. Yeah, I'm curious to see how many of these items you guys know.
Call from Yaguchi, David.
Okay, I think we can go ahead and start. So if we can go to the next page. Okay, so yeah, okay. Every December, Kimi's family woke up bright and early to go to their family mochitsuki. Time to get up, Kimi heard from downstairs. We're going to Grandma and Grandpa's. Kimi popped up. Kimi popped out of the covers. Yummy mochi, here I come, she yelled as she jumped out of bed. Next slide, please. All right. As the family, as the family buckled up for the long drive, Kimi's mom asked, "What's the first thing you're going to do when we get there, Kimi?" "I'm gonna make the biggest mochi ever," Kimi said, "and I want to put shoyu on it and furikake and red beans." Kimi's family finally arrived, but as they walked up to the house, Kimi noticed that something was wrong. Grandma was holding the front door open, the uncles and aunties were rushing in and out of the kitchen, and the cousins were fanning smoke out of the windows. "What's happened?" Kimi asked. If you guys want to take a guess at what happened, you guys can go ahead and put that in the chat too. "The mochi machine is broken," yelled Grandma as Kimi and her parents rushed into the house. Kimi's face fell. "Does that mean mochitsuki is canceled?" she worried. Just then, they heard a voice in the backyard yell, "Out here!" It was Grandpa. "Follow me," he said, gesturing toward the garage. "Our machine may be broken, but I have something better." As the family headed over, Kimi wondered, "But how can we make mochi without a machine? I sure hope this works." Now, just out of curiosity, what do you guys think they could do aside from using mochi machines. If you guys want to go ahead and put that in the chat, feel free. Grandpa pointed to the stone bowl and a few wooden mallets in the corner as the family squeezed into the garage. When I was little, this piece of rock and these hunks of wood were all we made to make our mochi with, he said, chuckling. Can we really make mochi with those? Kimi asked doubtfully. Of course we can, Grandpa replied. Help me move everything to the backyard and I'll show you just how we'll do it. The mochitsuki tools were heavy, but everyone did their part. The cousins lugged the wooden mallets, while it took all of the aunties and uncles to carry the giant stone bowl. I can say from personal experience, those bowls are heavy. Grandpa led the parade with a shamoji in hand, explaining how to set everything up. Grandma handed Kimi the pot of mochi gome. You get to carry a very important ingredient, Kimi. After all, you can't make mochi without the rice, she said, smiling. Okay, I'll be careful, Kimi giggled. If you guys know what mochi gome is and you want to put that in the chat too, I'm very curious to see how many of you know what it is. Outside, Grandpa picked up one of the tall mallets. He leaned over to Kimi and said, the last time I made mochi this way, this kine was taller than me. Kine? Kimi asked. Ah, yes. Kine are the mallets we use to pound the mochi, Grandpa said. My father told me to remember it this way. The kine are skine, like skinny. Get it? Get it? Everyone repeat after me. Say the kine are skine. Ready? The kine are skine. Okay. I can't believe I haven't used these since I was a boy, he chuckled. Kimi giggled. She couldn't imagine Grandpa as a little kid. As they set up the stone bowl, Grandpa explained, the mochi is pounded in this bowl called an usu. We remember this as, ooh, super heavy. Everyone repeat after me. Ooh, super heavy. In my day, we didn't have fancy mochi making machines. If we wanted to eat mochi, we had to work all day long for it, he continued. Whoa, all day? Kimi thought. She never realized how easy she had it. Yeah, this mochitsuki takes a long time, you guys. If you guys have never tried it, it's a process for sure. Now we pound the rice, Grandpa said. My father taught me that we count off in Japanese to make sure no one gets hurt. Ichi, ni, san, shi. Ichi, ni, san, shi, the four cousins yelled as they took their turn. Ichi, ni, san, shi. Kimi and Grandpa shouted as they took their turn. Wow, Kimi thought as her arms started to tire. This is a lot of work. Good thing everybody is here to help. Just out of curiosity, I want to know how many times you guys think you can pound that mochi before your arms get tired. So go ahead and put that in the chat. On to the next step, Grandma said, sending the family inside to mold stuff and package the mochi. Kimi stayed with Grandpa to pound the last batches. As wood from the kine flaked into the rice, she asked, should I take those wood chips out? Grandpa chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. No, no, no. As my father always said, the wood flakes and sweat are where the flavor comes from. How many of you think wood chippings and sweat taste good? I'm just curious, because personally, I don't think that really tastes that good, but yeah. As the sun set, Kimi looked inside, eyes wide at all the mochi they had. You know, Kimi, there's one ingredient we couldn't have made this mochi without, Grandpa said. Can you guess what it is? The rice? Kimi asked. Grandpa shook his head. The kine and the usu? The shoyu and the red beans? Grandpa shook his head. If it's not the rice or the kine and the usu, or the shoyu and the red beans, what is it? If you guys want to take a second and try to guess what that one thing is, go ahead and put it in the chat right now. I'll wait before we go on to the next slide. Okay, that's a good guess. I see love. Try to think. Let's think. What's the one thing they couldn't have made the mochi without? Any other guesses? Someone said labor. That's a good guess. It does take a lot of hard work to pound mochi like that. Give you guys a couple more minutes. Oh, that's a good guess too. Someone said tradition. I also see strong muscles on there. That's very true. Ooh, that's a good guess too. Someone said family. Okay, I think we can go ahead and go to the next slide. So whoever guessed family, you are correct. Family. Kimi thought about Grandpa's answer as she looked around. She thought about how close she felt with her whole family after working alongside them. She thought about the joy of everyone being together every year. Without family, there would be no mochitsuki. Family really was the most important ingredient. Next slide, please. You know, Kimi, it doesn't matter what kind of tools we use to make mochi, Grandpa said softly. It's about doing it together. My family passed that lesson down onto me, and I hope one day you will pass it on to your family too. Kimi hugged Grandpa. Okay, Grandpa, I will. After cleaning up, which is very important by the way, you don't want bits of mochi on your kine and usu. That's kind of gross. Kimi and Grandpa went back inside. Kimi grabbed a piece of mochi, warm, soft mochi, and smiled at all the people in the room. After a long day working together, she had a greater appreciation for not just mochitsuki, but for her family. There's a picture of Kimi's big family. Uh, Next slide, please. Now, what will you do to carry on Grandpa's message for the next generation? That's a very important question, and I'm very curious to see what you guys think. What do you think you can do to carry on Grandpa's message for the next generation? Someone said water. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's a good answer. Someone said keep teaching others about our culture through food. That's that's always fun. I love just eating food with my family. Keep sharing traditions. That's a great one too. Ooh, yes. Someone said they used to make their grandma used to make sukiyaki at home. Sukiyaki is so good, and it's a very good that brings family together. Yeah. Personally for me, I think yeah, a lot of it does revolve around food. I mean, um whenever my family would go to Obon, especially Nishi's Obon, which sadly is not happening this year, um we would always bring back food from the food booth and we would take it to my grandma's house and we would all sort of have a little feast together, which is always really fun. Um, so yeah, I think a good way to do that is through food. Um, if we could go to the next slide, please. Now that we've reached the end of our story, I'm curious to see how many of these items you guys can name now. So if we look at the top left corner, if you guys want to go ahead and name what that is. Okay, okay. Seeing some good answers here. What about the item to the right next to it? Can you guys name what that is? And then this uh to the item to the right of it, this wooden mallet right here. Can you guys remember um what that is, what the name of that is, and how you can remember it? Do you guys remember the joke? Because I thought it was pretty funny. Okay. And what about the item to the very right? The yellow, white, and brown bag and the bowl. What do you guys think is in that bowl? Okay. All right. These are good guesses. Good guesses. Okay. Now, if you look at the item right below it, this wooden thing right here, what do you guys think that's called? Okay. And then what about this item to the left? What do you guys think is in this bottle right here? Nice. Okay. Um, and then the item to the left, you see this bowl with some white stuff in it, and this other container. What do you guys think that is? Okay. And then you see this big stone bowl right here. I don't know if you guys remember the name of that or the joke affiliated with it. And then lastly, we have this bag to the very left and a little bowl. What do you guys think that is? Okay. So if we can go to the last slide, please. So these are all the names of all the items. As you can see to the very top left, that is mochi, and that is a rice cake. That is what the whole process of mochitsuki is about, or is used to make. To the right, we have rice flour, or mochiko, and then to the right of that, we have the kine, or the wooden mallet, which is, if you can't remember the joke was that the kine are skine, right? um, and then to the right, we have red bean, or anko, and then below that, um, I like I like whoever guessed rice paddle, but this is called a shamoji. And then to the left, we have soy sauce or shoyu, which I saw a lot of you were commenting down below. Um, and then to the left of that, we have a bowl of rice. And for those of you who said furikake on top, that is correct. The little things that do look like sprinkles is called furikake. And then to the left of that, we have the pounding bowl or the usu. And if you guys can't remember, the way to remember what this is called is the usu is ooh super heavy, right? And then to the left of that, we have the mochi rice or mochi gome, and that is what Kimi was in charge of. That was the ingredient she had to take very special care of because without that, they wouldn't be able to make mochi. And then to the left, the hands actually making the mochi is called mochitsuki. um, yeah, so with that, that is the end of our story. But there was one more thing I wanted to point out. So if we can go back to page 10, I believe it was. Perfect. Now, if you guys look at the to the right, as the grandpa is sort of reflecting on his childhood, you can see that where he's being taught about mochitsuki is in an internment camp, which since we are working with Tadaima, figured would be a good thing to point out. If you guys can see in the back, there's all the barracks and the watchtower. So that was where he had to grow up and learn about um, mochitsuki. So I thought that was just something interesting to point out to you guys since you have been attending Tadaima's virtual pilgrimage. Oh yeah, someone said the big mountains in the back could be a sign that this is the man's in our camp. Um, but yeah, so with that, um, I believe that is the end of our story. Thank you so much to those of you who hopped on and listened. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed the story as much as I liked telling it to you guys. So yeah, and like I said, this book is a product of Kizuna. So if you guys want to check it out or order a copy, you can do that on our website at gokizuna.org. And yeah, thank you guys so much for hopping on and listening to the story.